Hey Charlie, we all think that I'm autistic, but have you ever considered the possibility that I might just be German? Let's find out together. Also, today marks the death of my nails. They had a good run of about, I want to say a day and a half, maybe 2 days. So yeah, can I get a rest in peace in the chat, please? Back to my naked nails. I high-key ripped them off yesterday because it is so hard to go to the gym with super long nails, I just discovered. The spirit of my nails has come back to haunt me and it put an eyelash in my eye. Nothing but respect for anyone that can do chin-ups with super long nails. Anyway, am I German or autistic? Let's find out. 15 questions, 2 minutes, one uncomfortable truth. 2 minutes, huh? I bet I can stretch that. Punctuality is a basic moral obligation. To be late is to disrespect other people's time, which is to disrespect them. I already have a problem with that because you know how people with ADHD have time blindness and will legitimately be late all the time, even when they're trying their hardest to be on time? Now, does that make it okay? Does that mean that other people should have no problem at all with them being late? No. Again, I say this all the time. Things like that related to disability, things like time blindness, it's not their fault, but it is their responsibility. That being said, I don't like assigning moral value to it because, again, it's not their fault. In my case, I have ADHD, I suck with time, like horribly, I'm always late. Look at my fucking streams.
And guys, I'm streaming at 6 p.m. today.
7:30 and haven't even started stream yet. So yeah, holy tangent right off the bat. Yeah, I'm gonna take longer than 2 minutes on this quiz. Definitely not this one. Not negotiable. I already have calculated the optimal departure time, accounting for 3 contingency scenarios. Nope. Generally important, but context dependent. This is the one. Fine, but I don't understand why people get so worked up about it. This is definitely the most reasonable option in my opinion. Generally important, but context dependent. You receive a new piece of equipment. You read the manual. Whoa, stop right there. I'm short circuit evaluating this. I saw the word read. I will not be doing any reading. Next option. Whoa. We can short circuit evaluate all of these, I'm discovering. That leaves us at the last option. Who reads manuals? Pretty valid. I want to say I'm sort of between read the relevant sections and who reads manuals. It really depends on the apparatus. I'm going to go with read the relevant sections because I do sometimes skim manuals. Someone gives you unclear instructions. You ask for clarification until the instructions are unambiguous. Ambiguity is a failure of the speaker. High key, yeah. Follow the instructions as literally as possible and hold the person responsible for any unintended outcomes. That's quite immature, so no. Interpret them charitably and proceed. Why leave ambiguity when you could just ask for clarification? Become quietly distressed but say nothing. Yeah, so all of these are emotionally immature except for the first one. So I'm going with the first one. Next. Small talk is horrible. A satanic ritual. A curse on this planet. A necessary social lubrication. Interesting terminology. I have become proficient at it. I do not enjoy it. Oh, that's actually pretty based. Wait, hold on. This is a good answer. A social ritual whose purpose I understand, but whose execution I find bewildering. Yeah, that too. Fine, I'm normal about it. No. An insult to the possibility of real conversation. Exactly. Okay. A necessary social lubrication. See, I don't even think it's necessary. I do understand its purpose, kind of. I mean, what is small talk? It's a way to display to a person that you are fond of their presence, I think. It's a way to be polite and display to this person that you like them and that you are amiable with them, I think. And also to touch base to see how they're doing. Although apparently sometimes someone will ask, how are you? Like, how are you doing? Without actually caring about the answer, which raises a whole lot more questions that I don't understand, so I'm just gonna do an insult to the possibility of real conversation. I love jumping into deep shit instead of wasting my time on small talk. Next question. The most reasonable response to someone doing something inefficiently in front of you is politely explain the more efficient method. Yeah, that sounds about right. Explain it once. If they continue doing it wrong, that's their problem. I mean, yeah. there's no need to get heated about it, but like, I guess. If they continue doing it wrong after your explanation, it is in fact their problem. Say nothing, but spend the rest of the day thinking about it. Let it go. I feel like let it go and politely explain are the two emotionally mature options. I would probably politely explain because it bothers me when I see someone doing something inefficiently. Next, your relationship to rules is best described as... Ooh, let me move this. Rules exist for reasons. When the reason no longer applies, the rule no longer applies. I decide when that is. Rules are rules. The rule is the rule regardless of the context. That is the point of rules. A rule is a rule unless the rule is wrong, in which case the rule must be argued against formally. That one's kind of valid. I follow rules because social cooperation depends on it, not because I think they're inherently binding. This is getting philosophical and I hate philosophy, so I'm probably going to go with a third one. Do I think all rules are completely perfect and flawless and should be followed with 0 questions asked? No. But do I care enough about this subject to think about it for longer than 7 seconds? Also no. Next. You discover a better way to do something you've been doing wrong for 10 years. You begrudgingly change my ways. Update immediately and never do it the old way again. Update immediately and feel a genuine sense of relief that the world is now more correct. Update gradually because changing habits is hard. Feel briefly ashamed about the 10 years, then update. Probably the first one? Again, this really depends on the context. Update immediately and never do it the old way again. How do you feel when someone interrupts your focus? Kind of pissed off. Mildly annoyed? Yes, but I can return to it easily? No. The interruption cost me approximately 20 minutes of recovery time. I've done the calculations. Yep, that's the one. It depends whether the interruption was legitimate. What does that mean? Genuinely difficult to describe, like a physical sensation. No, I'm gonna say it cost me approximately 20 minutes. Whenever I'm interrupted, it takes me a really long time to get back into the flow state because I feel like my brain goes into different states. I have a working mode. Oh my gosh, like I can use today as an example. It took me so fucking long to sit down in front of my computer and film. I was driving, I was getting my coffee, I was home, I was texting on Discord, I was listening to music. I was doing everything except filming. Even though I wanted to film and it was on my to-do list, it was in my noggin, I just couldn't get myself into the filming headspace. But then at one point, my music started lagging, and so I just had to sit here in silence with my thoughts, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. My shit's already lagging. I may as well just take out my AirPods and start filming. Getting into the mindset is so difficult. And when I'm broken out of that mindset by an interruption, it's rather difficult. Next question. When someone says we should get coffee sometime, you understand this to mean a genuine invitation requiring follow-up scheduling. Yeah. A social nicety that means nothing. I do not follow up, neither do they. Everyone is fine. Why would somebody say we should get coffee if they don't want to get coffee? I know it probably means nothing, but I'm not 100% sure and it bothers me. A vague positive sentiment that may or may not result in coffee. You're telling me that someone can say we should get coffee sometime and not mean it? What? Why would you say that? My life is a lie. Your position on separating personal and professional matters is absolute. They do not mix. This is non-negotiable. I have a strong preference for separation, but I understand the real world is messier. I find the boundary confusing and tend to be either too professional in personal settings or too personal in professional ones. Context dependent, I can navigate both. Pretty much. Kind of. We'll see, I'm like high-key unemployed, so how do I even apply this question to myself? I'm gonna say it's context dependent. When you know a lot about something, you share relevant information when asked. I don't volunteer it unsolicited, that would be presumptuous. Yeah, pretty much. Sounds about right. I wouldn't want to annoy people. Have to consciously stop myself from saying everything I know about it, mention it if it seems useful, feel a responsibility to correct misconceptions when I encounter them. That's a big one. That's a big one. Oh my gosh. When people are talking about psychology, or sleep especially, there's so much misinformation regarding sleep circulating. Oh my god. Like one time in my Discord server, I saw people talking about melatonin and using it for sleep. And it was like, I couldn't fight the urge. Because there were people saying, yeah, I take it right before bed. Yeah, I take like 5 milligrams. I'm like, So, I can really resonate with the last option. It's like, I'm in between this one and this one. I'm gonna go with this one, because I feel like I tend to keep it in. Like, with my IRL friends, I'm never talking about my special interests. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the first one. Kind of. I'm really split though. Your inner monologue is orderly, I think, in sentences. The sentences are grammatically correct. What kind of superhuman is selecting this option? Constant and somewhat overwhelming, involving simultaneous consideration of multiple possibilities, pretty much. Normal, I think, no. Methodical, I work through problems systematically before arriving at a conclusion, no. Constant and somewhat overwhelming, yes. By the way, throwback to when it said this would take 2 minutes. Holy shit, I'm a yapper. Someone does not follow through on something they said they would do. You feel disappointment that is proportionate to the importance of the commitment. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty reasonable. I would like to think that that's my answer. Judgment. You said you would do it. You did not do it. This is a character question. It really depends on the specific situation, because like, what if something outside their control occurred? Confusion followed by distress, because the gap between what they said and what they happened feels like a fundamental problem. Oh, and what happened feels like a fundamental problem. Fine, people are unreliable. I had already planned for this. No, that's like hella pessimistic. The third one is kind of valid, but it really depends on what the thing is. Is it like, hey bro, let's hang out today, and then like 17 seconds before we were supposed to meet, oh, actually I can't show up. Like, that is going to piss me off. That's gonna make me distressed. But if it's something that doesn't even have to do with me, I don't care. I probably wouldn't even feel disappointed, I just wouldn't care. So I'm gonna go with the first one. Proportionate to the importance of the commitment. Your approach to an interesting topic is best described as read the best books, form a view, move on. Become extremely knowledgeable about it for a period of weeks or months, and then possibly move on. Oh, hell yeah. Thorough and systematic, because understanding something halfway is worse than not understanding at all. Absolutely not. There are so many things that I kind of dip my toes in that I don't have the attention span or motivation to learn about thoroughly. But getting a little bit of education is better than getting no education at all. I would rather spend a little bit of time scrolling through Wikipedia than spend that same time scrolling on shorts or reels or something. I think learning a little bit is always better than not learning at all, as long as your sources are good. Develop a sustained interest that remains active for years alongside other sustained interests. Oh, that's funny. That's hilarious. Nope. Become extremely knowledgeable for a bit and then move on. The real problem with the world is people don't think things through before acting. Imprecision in language and thought and action. People say one thing and do another. Rules without reasons. None of these. My answer would have been rampant negativity, cognitive distortions, mental health issues. People are too negative, people are too judgmental, there's too much hate in this world, but I'm not seeing that anywhere. People don't think things through. I suppose thinking things through could minimize hate. If somebody's acting out of anger, then thinking it through could help that. I don't really know what imprecision means. People say one thing and do another. Like, I don't know. This is really general, and I'm also not that smart, and I'm also not good with this kind of philosophical, broad view of the world. I'm just a drooling homunculus, so I'm kind of resonating with the first one. Rules without reasons. I'm gonna go with the first one. People don't think things through before properly acting. Oh, okay. You're a little autistic. Not necessarily German about it. The patterns here are neurological rather than cultural, or at least that's the more parsimonious explanation. Damn. We're dropping a parsimonious. Very unwilling to use resources is what parsimonious means. The intensity of focus, the difficulty with ambiguity, the literal relationship to what people say versus what they mean, these are features of a particular kind of mind, not a particular national character. I'm not gonna lie, I thought my responses were pretty German, so this came as a shock to me. Honestly, it kinda sat me down and gave me the cold hard truth. I think I needed to hear that. Maybe I am autistic. Thank you for joining me, twin. This was a really young lap session. Alright, bro. It's time for me to log off. this was a really long yap session. I hope you enjoyed it. I like just being chill with you and just saying the shit that comes to mind. Make sure to take care of yourself and be kind to yourself and follow my Twitch. Okay? Okay. Bye, twin. Mwah.